Yo, what's up, guys? Cool Kid here, back with another video. Mariners are eliminated. We're going to talk about the series, and we're going to talk about, the offseason for the Mariners as we get eliminated, losing 4-3 in the last game of the set. And tough series, man. I mean, winning the first two games on the road was so huge for this team because that was going to give us a good chance to close it out. And two of those three games in Seattle, couldn't do it. You go back to Toronto, you lose both of those games, and Blue Jays definitely outperformed the Mariners in games 3 through 4, games 3 and 4. I do think we outperformed them in games 1 and 2, and probably 7, because we should have won game 7 if we had a good pitching performance by Eduardo Bizardo there in the bottom of the 7th. George Springer comes up to bat, and he clobbers a 3-run dinger to win for the Toronto Blue Jays 4-3. And they are able to celebrate on their home grounds. And I was really upset. Now it's kind of synced in, so I'm kind of used to it. I'm kind of cool with it now. But tough way to go out, man. Tough way to end the season. Now, this season was a pretty good season for the Seattle Mariners. We finished 90-72 on the season. We are first place. We won the AL West. First time the Seattle Mariners have won the AL West since 2001, about 24 years. And a really good season for the Mariners. I mean, 51-30 at home. We were one of the best home teams in baseball. And a lot of great performances this season from guys like Cal Raleigh, Julio Rodriguez, Randy Arozarena, Josh Naylor. When he, got acquired, he was good. And Eugenio Suarez and Jorge Polanco. So many good guys that played well for this team. And I'm super excited for next year. Now, will we be able to repeat this? Will we be able to get back to where we were this year? We don't know. Hopefully we do. That's the scary part, because I've seen teams that have, has had a great year like this and, struggled in that next year. And that's the Orioles in 2024. Really good team. Really good. 2025, one of the worst teams in the MLB. And, they have to, they just fired their GM, I believe. Now, Dan Wilson, John Stan, Jerry DiPoto have put the chips in, to make the biggest success of the Seattle Mariners season. And I'm not going to blame Jerry DiPoto. I'm not going to blame Dan Wilson and Justin Hollander and John Stanton, because they made moves. They got Josh Naylor. They got Eugenio Suarez. Caleb Ferguson was supposed to be a good talent for us. He didn't really pan out. Sometimes he had some big games, but as a lefty, we needed him to fit into that role with Gabe Spire. And he was all right. But, this team, was really successful this year. This is probably our best year that we've ever had. Probably an indictment on the franchise, because this isn't a great franchise. It's a great franchise because it's a great franchise in terms of the amount of legends that we have brought here, like Ichiro Suzuki, Ken Griffey Jr., Edgar Martinez, guys back in the day like John Orud and Alvin Davis, and catchers like Dan Wilson used to play on the team, and Randy Johnson, King Felix, the big unit, obviously. Kyle Seager and Alex Rodriguez. There's so many quality guys that have played for us. Just, not the greatest winning franchise. And hopefully we will get better at that. Hopefully we can make a World Series in the next 6 to 8 years. Hopefully less. Hopefully around 3 to 5. But, you're not going to win it the first time you make it. Not all the time. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. But we didn't this time. We didn't even make it to the World Series. We fell short, losing 4-3 in the 7th game of the set against the Toronto Blue Jays on the road. And, that's just what happened. Now, in the offseason, we're going to see nobody get fired, especially how good we played. Nobody deserves to get fired. I think that John Stanton and Jerry DiPoto, Justin Hollander, and Dan Wilson, the whole crew, did a great job. They did what they tried their best, and we just fell short. And We had an amazing year from Cal Raleigh. I do think he should win the AL MVP. 60 home runs, 5 home runs in the postseason. Great performance by J-Rod and Randy and Naylor and Polo, all those guys that I mentioned earlier. But, Cal was historical. He broke so many records, including, most home runs hit by a primary catcher and breaking Mickey Mantle's record for the most home runs as a switch hitter, which is incredible. He was 3 shy of breaking Aaron Judge's AL single season record with 62. That would have been even more legendary, but historical year for a catcher and also the first catcher to win a derby. Really successful season for the Mariners. Hopefully we are able to bounce back in 2026. I don't know what's going to happen to Eugenio Suarez. I don't know if we're going to, have Ben Williamson start for third base. For shortstop, I don't know if Cole Emerson is going to take that step up and J.P. Crawford's going to get traded. We don't really know. Pitching staff-wise, I do expect Logan Gilbert and George Kirby and Bryce Miller to be back. Luis Castillo can get traded. I'm not sure about what's going to happen with that. Brian Wooden-Ace is going to stay, but bullpen-wise, really good. Brash was really good this year. He had some cold stretches when, a lot of home runs, especially that one against the Angels with, I think it was a home run to Taylor Ward. I know it was Jordell, one of those guys. He gives up some home runs at sometimes, Sometimes he's missing the zone, but he is your main swing and miss guy in the pen. Besides Munoz. Munoz is obviously one of the best closers in baseball. Eduardo Bizardo is usually lights out besides that game 7. Caleb Ferguson's all right. Carlos Vargas, not really good. Not the greatest. Prayers up to Trent Thornton. Hopefully he can come back ready and back for 2026. Outfield-wise, obviously Dom. We still have Dominic Canzone, Victor Robles. Not the greatest year for Victor Robles, but he was injured for about 60% of the year. Came back late, and he played like 10 games in the beginning of the year, but not really much besides that. Ryan Bliss was obviously hurt as well. But I'm expecting a bounce back for the Mariners. I do think in 2026 we should win about 89 to 92, hopefully. And hopefully we can get back to where we were this year. This was a huge year. I was super excited. At the beginning of the 7th inning, I was so excited. I thought this was going to be our first World Series appearance in the franchise's history. It didn't happen. But I am excited for, 2026. I'm interested in what happens. So we'll see what happens in that.